Hello people, I am Sky Demolisher and welcome back for another From the Collection Fridays, a series where I take things from my collection and show it to you, my viewers. And this week it is my BST AXN Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood Alphonse Elric. Now this figure is newly released in New Zealand. I picked mine up from Vagabond Games and I'll leave a link down below to them in case you're interested in picking it up. I believe Mighty Ape is also stocking them. So before I get fully into it, I'm going to say that these figures appear to have the exact same kind of quality issues that the Nika figures do, and that is in their joints. Unfortunately, Alphonse is the first of these kind of figures, whether this brand or Nika, that I have snapped something on. So before I move the box, I'm going to warn you that one of his feet is broken off. I haven't repaired it yet because I'm trying to think through on how to fix it, and whether or not I just want to have it in a fixed place glue, or if I'm going to try to put a pin through it so that hopefully it can get the joint to move that it snapped. So before I get into full things, I know some people like the boxes, so I'll just zoom out. There is on the back a blurb about the figure, or the character, multiple accessories. Basically shows you what you've got, which is swappable hands. I think all of them have this blanket statement of 22 points of articulation. That's not actually true. It appears that some of these figures have 22 points of articulation and some of the others do not. So we'll just zoom in again. Obviously I realise that because he is a giant silver figure, he's kind of shiny when it comes to the background and stuff. Obviously he looks very much like his character from the show, with the long sort of, I guess it's a ponytail type thing that comes off the back of the helmet there, which obviously might bleed into the white background. He's got the nice detailing of the pouch around his thigh there, and of course that waist, I guess you call it bib thing. He comes with interchangeable hands. I will point out, if I zoom in here, I think it is, and hopefully we can get it to focus. Like, they've got his face done quite nicely, maybe a little bit further back. It does look very much like the cartoon, or the anime character. I shouldn't say cartoon, it's not a cartoon. And it has the alchemical, I want to say Ouroboros insignia, but I don't think it is Ouroboros. It's just, that particular alchemist symbol that they used. And obviously nice spiking. They're not like soft, they're actually quite hard, which is good. To change the hands, it's basically just to pull out and slot the new ones in. I think that this is actually in all of these kind of figures, so you get like 2 hands that are in the fist, and I think it's 2 hands in the straight sort of open karate chop position. So I swapped one of the hands out so I could have that karate chop position and that. So when I pick it up, you'll see what I mean. It was the foot that I broke off, unfortunately. So you can see there that if it focuses, that it's got one of those really, really bad ankle into foot, sideways or diagonal into the foot. Hopefully that will actually focus. Yeah. maybe a little bit further out. You think after all, well, there we go. So I remove one of my hands and suddenly it's like, oh, I know what to focus on. This kind of pin is the exact kind of thing that I complained about in the Marvel Legends figures. In my opinion, it is one of the worst ways to do a joint, particularly in such an integral spot like the ankle there. Obviously, like, if you're buying more expensive figures from Japan, like I think it's the SH Figure Arts and some of the Bandai ones, they have similar kind of joints in the ankles and the limbs and stuff, but they actually do it in a way that has movement, and unfortunately that's where things like Nika and these guys have obviously stuffed it up, because putting all that pressure, get it into shot, all that pressure for the ankle joint through into a tiny little pin in the foot. If the joints like this one obviously got, it's really not into the focusing mood today, is it? If they get just a little bit tacked up or whatever, they're not going to move. So you have to do that heating thing. So it's either you put them in hot water to heat up the joint, or you need to use like a hairdryer or a heat gun on a low setting to heat it up and loosen it. Obviously, like, he does have the hip articulation, but it's hindered by the skirt piece. There is articulation at the knee, and they are very, very tight joints. And there is a bit of swivel too, but again, because of how the armour is done, it sort of, gets in the way. The feet have a nice swivel effect to them, and they do have the backwards and forwards, but of course, like I said, because the joints are so tight, you can quite easily snap them. Obviously his arm has popped off. Now this actually happened when I first got it too, and I assume that it is a soft brake mechanic sort of thing to try to stop it from actually snapping, although the sign of the white on the inside of that also indicates that it might have been glued and the glue has given way, and if it is glued, then that could explain why the joint down here snapped, because they glued it shut. Obviously there's articulation at the elbow. There is no side swivel to that though, it's just sort of basic up and down. There is a little bit of out at the shoulder, but not a lot. Again, because of the armour and stuff, it's really quite a bulky thing. So get it back in shot now. The wrist articulation, some of them appear to actually have a proper joint here, so they'll actually have that sort of movement, and some don't appear to have it, so you get the sort of swivel thing. Same arm that side. Unfortunately, because they've fixed his head on, like, you can't see it too well on the camera, I don't think, but they actually fixed the back of the helmet into the armour, so it's got that sort of floating look like it does in the show, but that also means that you don't get any articulation in it. So, I would say that unless you are like a massive fan of Full Metal Alchemist and stuff, this is probably a figure that you'd want to pass on. I've just got it for display purposes, so I set it up and I let it sit there looking pretty, and because he's a fairly bulky figure anyway, it's not like you need him to be doing wild action poses, because Alphonse never really did the wild action poses. Edward is more one that you need proper articulation for. So, all in all, I don't mind the figure. I just think that it could have been better done. I picked this one up at the same time I picked up Spike Spiegel. So in a couple of weeks you'll see the Spike Spiegel video, because I'm going to be shooting that a little bit later today. So I hope you've enjoyed this, and until next time, take care of yourselves. Bye.